Opinions, viewpoints, and beliefs presented on this program do not necessarily reflect those of the management, the affiliates and broadcast partners, or the sponsors. Listener discretion is advised.
Scarefest Radio, the radio you can see.
And hello and good evening, everyone, and welcome to an annual event here on Scarefest TV. John and Stacey Edwards are coming on to share the weirdness and of the last year in paranormal and all kinds of news. And I want to tell you, nobody does it better than them. I've tried. I gave up years ago. So yeah, you can go ahead and that's fine. Let's put us all up there, everybody. Now. According to where you got the link from the show, guess what? We have celebrity announcements tonight. So we do, but I'd already shared it once, and I said, I ain't going to do that again. But, so yeah, we do have celebrity announcements tonight. What do you make? You're making hand signals. Just use your words. Oh, you're trying to get out of frame? Well, I can't fix that.
No, you need to move you over a little bit.
Oh, because of her? Oh, well.
You're sitting right on top of poor Stacey.
Well, I'll sit in the middle of over here. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. But she's over here doing these pinafore waves. And,
bite me.
I always come in the wrong place.
There we go. Okay, everybody. What has happened in the meantime, and I've got that, you should be able to hear them now. I have a new computer, brand new computer. I'm allowed to cuss now. I put TVMA at the beginning of this.
I saw that. I saw you warned everybody at the beginning.
I may curse freely now. And I spent the entire last week rebuilding the studio settings, and there's just a little matter of, in the meantime, yes. Oh, screw you, Katie. That's a good computer. I'm using it right here. My internet, everybody, and one of these days I'm going to go into the whole story about how my internet company told me to go fuck myself. And I got a new internet company that, in worst case, I have to go back to Walmart and spend another $50. They can't cut me off, never, ever, ever, because I learned how to game the system.
Yeah, really, putting it out there.
Anyway, so okay, we're back at it now, everybody, with John and Stacey Edwards doing Today is Strange on YouTube. Look it up. Don't look them up by name though, because if you look them up by name, all you'll find is where they've been on my show. Just saying, people.
That's weird. I know you can do we have the @ Today is Strange on YouTube, so you can do youtube.com @ Today is Strange, and it should bring it up. I
just meant if you actually go in and type the names in.
Well, it's still pretty new.
Oh, you're talking about like John and Stacey Edwards?
Yeah, like that. Yeah. Now, if you type in Today is Strange, it pops up like normal. Yeah.
So, funny story is I wanted years ago to market us as John and Stacey Edwards, and we actually talked about it. We were going to do the Omni site that went to everything that we've ever done with wrestling and paranormal and whatever. Stacey's sex gig on the side. But we never went to that, so I think we should. I think we should just go by the names.
I think so.
I don't know. I don't think I haven't tried it. Come think of it, but if you go on YouTube and type in West Forsyth, I don't think it comes up. That so I don't worry about it. I'm just saying
your criminal record.
Yeah, well, yeah. If you Google me, it's a different story.
I actually found some kind of profile when I did. It was like farmers only something.
Something like that.
Yeah. I don't know what that was all about.
I will. Some online magazine, posted an article about Ross Opera House, which I will get you all to here very soon. But the interesting thing is, the article used the information from my website to explain what all goes on at the building. A website that I have not updated in like 7 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that the information's not. I just didn't know you could still access the information. Is
Dude,
the thing?
I've got an Angel Fire site. Remember those?
Oh my God, that's like
Yeah.
having an AOL address.
I've still got the back door to the Angel Fire site for my old band, and it's got all the web work Stacy did.
Hey, I built that whole website.
Late
I'm so
90s.
proud of myself.
And it's got her little web mistress thing on the bottom, but it's pretty cool. Had blood dripping and cages and all the stuff that used to get us excited on our 56K modem.
The claim to fame of my old I Hunt Ghost website is basically, I still think I had the coolest logo of any ghost hunters out there. I'm not saying I'm better than anybody else, but to not be a graphic designer, I think I came up with a winner. That I caught hell over because the people that are offended by the term hunt in relation to ghost.
Wow. Forget those people. It was really cool. I loved it.
I did too.
Yeah, Katie said, you're not old enough to have a GeoCities address, Katie.
She's a young pup.
Yeah, she probably barely remembers what was the thing before Facebook.
MySpace.
MySpace. I'd be surprised if you even had MySpace. Anyway, well, we've rambled on now for 10 minutes. Of course, 5 of it was me fixing the audio. Okay, what's our first story of the day?
All right. So I went through and I picked out about 10 of like just the weirdest and strangest stories of the whole year. And the good thing about Today is Strange is it's not just paranormal. It's just anything that's weird and crazy. But it turns out that the weirdest one, the one I thought was the weirdest, is actually a paranormal story. It's from Buenos Aires, Argentina. And it's the story from November of the security guard at the hospital that checked in a patient on video. And they showed the video, the hospital camera, and he checked a patient in, offered him a wheelchair, gave him directions, told him which floor to go to for who they were looking for, and there was nobody there.
Yeah.
There was nobody on the video. And after a while, I think the story goes that he even was wondering what happened because they never came back out. And so he called the floor that the person was going to. And the nurses on the floor was like, no, nobody's come up here. But the name that the patient gave when they checked in was the name of a patient that had passed away earlier in the day, and they were going to that room.
Fresh ghost.
So it was crazy.
It's awesome because it made all the national news in Argentina, and we have a couple of listeners down there, longtime listeners. Doc Nico is one of them, and he actually sends me some stuff sometimes from hospitals, which he probably shouldn't, but that's why we go by his alias. But he sent me the story, and he's like, have you guys seen this yet? Probably not.
It hadn't really broke here yet.
But it broke within like 12, 24 hours after we put it up. But it's so creepy because, I mean, this guy, legit security footage, nothing put on here. He sees him walk in. You don't see anything.
Nope.
And when he talks to the person, they told him specifics. They're like, I have to recover these belongings of so-and-so who passed away yesterday.
And the video is so clear because he gets up. I mean, you see him doing his job. He jumps up, he opens the thing for the person to come in, he writes the name down, he gives him, I mean, you can see him explaining the directions just like he's talking to somebody, but there is absolutely nobody on the video.
Yeah, no,
very creepy,
very messed up, but I love it because it's authentic, so you don't get that very often.
That's definitely the weirdest one from the year.
Weirdest paranormal.
Yes.
All
right, so
I mean, that's pretty damn weird. So the video, so the guy's like making the little pinafore signs and everything, pointing up to the.
Yeah, he even offered the person a wheelchair because he said, I guess later when they talked to him, he said he thought they looked kind of
disheveled.
And he pulled a wheelchair out and was like, "Do you want this?" And then he put it back because I guess they said no. And he was pointing down the hallway and doing everything he would normally do. And then he just went back and sat down.
Oh man,
like it was a normal day. So it was really, really strange.
That would have been the Hollywood moment, though. You realize that if he had actually put them in the wheelchair and the ghost had just went ahead.
Oh, absolutely. And we never figured out if it was the person coming back to get their belongings, or maybe something coming for the person. So
yeah, it wasn't a lot of follow-up, I guess, because it was
Yeah.
from Argentina. So yeah, definitely very, very strange.
Now you got me picturing the sickle.
Yeah, right. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I got only he's in an Uber. Death in an Uber.
Video. I'm
Did you?
listening to him.
John's going to send you the video for you to watch.
Okay.
It's very crazy.
One of these days, since we're going to do this every year, we should probably like brainstorm before the show, and then like if you have a video like that, I would have wanted to do it this week because.
Yeah, that would have been smart, huh? I should have thought of that.
I didn't even think
Year after year, we do figure, but 3 years or so, we'll have this down pat.
Yeah, in a few years, we'll have it like it's nothing. All right, so do we have time for another strange story from the year?
Yeah, we'll slide one in here.
Okay, so this one I thought was crazy animal story. It's about an elephant. And this elephant trampled a woman named Maya Murmu. This is from India. Now, this 70-year-old woman, she went to fetch water from the well. And while she was doing it, this elephant that had escaped from a wildlife sanctuary in the next state saw her and I guess was enraged and trampled her. She had to go to the hospital and she ended up passing away from her injuries. Now,
it's a terrible story.
Well, I'm not done. Her family.
There better be a UFO coming up here soon.
We're doing the funeral, and they were going to put her on a pyre as part of the funeral. And the elephant shows up at the funeral and runs up, grabs her body, throws it, and runs off.
What the hell did she do to the elephant?
Nothing. She was supposedly getting water from the well, and the elephant, I don't know, was super offended and then just stalked her at her funeral and threw her dead body. They were able to recover her body and still finish the funeral, and the elephant never came back. But for some reason, this elephant had some kind of vendetta against this poor woman and not only killed her, but came back to seek vengeance at her funeral.
This is this is the opposite of those feel-good stories where, you save a squirrel and then he comes back 20 years later and, he's...
Exactly.
I haven't heard that one.
No, we weren't able to do that story, I don't think, at the time for some. I don't remember. I'm not sure why that one never ended up. But
so remember a few years ago when the gorillas... When the gorillas got mad at the sheriff's office, they arrested one of the gorillas, and the other gorillas came down out of the forest and
broke him out.
Yeah,
there was some kind of thing with killing a gorilla baby or something, and then the gorillas all came back. It's so weird.
Did she diddle the elephant, you think, or?
I mean, I don't know. He was from a wildlife sanctuary. Maybe she visited there one day, and elephants don't forget. So maybe she made him mad, and then
stood in line too long. Something like that.
Something.
Just like self-checkout at the wildlife, because I've gotten up mad enough to I don't know that I'd kill him the first time.
That is actually that one's actually strange.
It is very strange. It's very strange.
So, all right, we're going to do a commercial break. The Chad Harlan says the elephant felt good about it, though. The elephant felt good. Everybody, let's talk about Blue Leaf Naturals real quick. Blue Leaf Naturals, USDA certified organically grown hemp, CBD infused bath bombs. So if you're take a bath, I'm a shower guy. Sorry, that kind of leaves me out. Personal care items. Blue Dreams, which I've talked about, that's the stuff you take before you go to sleep, and it works. Actually, you take it before you don't go to sleep, and then it makes you go to sleep. To be more specific about it, Blue Relief Lotion, which I used the heck out of after Scarefest because they tried to kill me this year. Hand sanitizers, edible CBD gummies, which makes the... let's face it, if you've ever taken CBD orally, there's a good chance you quit because you hated the taste. Try the gummies. Everybody, this is all at blueleafnaturals.com. Long-standing sponsor of this show, and we do appreciate it. Now, I want to go to promo spot one. Someone sent us at Scarefest their kids... video of the week. That's what I meant. their kid did a little YouTube thing. His name is Christopher. Find him on YouTube, Christopher's Creations. And he's a preteen. He's a little kid. And he wants to be a YouTuber. And I pulled up his channel. This dude is a YouTuber, whether he's ready or not. He is doing some great work. So we're going to start a little segment here as they become available. And it's the video of the week.
Oh, hey guys. I didn't see you there. Today, we're in Kentucky Scarefest. Look guys, he's familiar. Check it out guys. It's Inferno Monkey!
And welcome back, everybody, to Scarefest TV. So, in honor of that video, I am actually starting a new segment. If you will send me, if you have done a little best of Scarefest video in the last few years, and you would like us to show it, if it's under 3 minutes, for sure. If it's 2 minutes, it's perfect. 60 seconds would be ideal. Doesn't matter though. If you send it to me. Send me a link at scarefestradio@gmail.com and we'll use it and give you creds and all that. Okay, what's our third story?
All right, so let's move on to another weird story from the year. And this is the one from Notre Dame, you know, the one where they found the bodies when they were renovating under Notre Dame.
They may not know, but
2 sarcophagus, and they opened them this year. And
Put them back.
The reason this is weird.
Put the candle back.
Now, the reason that this is weird is because even though they knew who one of the gentlemen was, it was a guy that died on Christmas Eve in 1710. His name was Antoine de la Porte. They knew who that was. The second coffin was older, and they believe, they're just speculating now, that it's from 14th century France. They call him the Knight because apparently his skeleton showed that he rode horses a lot. But the weirdest thing about it is he had an elongated skull. And so they're putting him in 14th century France because supposedly there was the head binding was big then. And that's what they're speculating that this is, but they don't really know.
As I said when we first covered this, okay, being sensitive, okay, from a little European ancestry, I don't remember a whole lot of the family tree with the head binding. Okay, just saying. There's not very many ancient art pics with Saint Tommy with the cone head with the elongated skull. So I found that's really odd.
I thought it was really strange too.
Okay. Now, here's the skeptic in me. I think he was a knight. He would have been wearing one of those metal helmets. From a small town, probably secondhand, might not have fit just right. Just saying. Got it. Well, got it as a teenager. Is he?
That's a hella tight helmet, though.
They claim that he had been upper echelon. I mean, in order to be buried.
How are you doing, sir?
You have to think, though, in order to have the honor of being buried under the sanctuary at Notre Dame, you have to be somebody pretty important. You're not going to be just some random secondhand knight.
So why could it not have been Quasimodo? I mean, it is Notre Dame.
I mean, I guess it could have been. I have no idea. The bell ringer? You think it's the bell ringer?
Yeah, it's the bell ringer. We could do something about that hump.
Oh.
Yeah, just
Never mind.
tighten across shoulders. Maybe that's what happened. Maybe Quasimodo tightened the shoulders, shoved the hump right up on top of his head, right in the cranium.
Oh, I love those humps.
History explained.
There you go.
Those lovely lady bumps. The one of the weirdest. I mean, we only found out about this because of Notre Dame burning down and the cathedral deal, and under a lot of those old churches, obviously it's a place of prominence, really, where they put the whatever underneath, whether it's ashes or blood or what have you, and I just think it's really strange that down below the one they knew about, like you said, so how many every years that was down below,
right,
they have Mr. Elongated,
right,
it's
Elongated
crazy
skull. It's very strange.
Oh, I googled it. His actual given name was Edward's Longhead. Edward Longhead.
It's just as good as Longshanks to me.
There you go. All right. So another strange story from the year. This one was a little more recent. This is about the gentleman who built the VR headset that can actually kill you if you die in the game.
I saw the headline and I did not read that story. How the hell? Unless it's like that movie with the what's his face? God, I'm gonna start taking Prevagen, so I quit forgetting. Bruce Willis' name. But anyway, like in that movie when they had the robots and
I'm not sure which movie that is. Do you know what he's talking about? Which movie?
They called them avatars, but they weren't. That wasn't the name of the movie. Anyway, everybody in like right here, rather than looking at my old ass, I could have a robot basically made that looked like I did when I was in my prime, and I would be sitting in my recliner with all that, and so go ahead. Okay, VR glasses could kill you.
You're in your prime now.
That's
buddy.
right. So this was a story about a man named Palmer Luckey, and he is the guy that invented the Oculus Rift.
His name's Palmer Luckey.
Palmer Luckey, that's his name, yes. And he's the guy that's responsible for the Oculus Rift, which is the one right before the Oculus Quest, which is the one that I play.
Hey, John, that didn't bother him in high school at all. No way they came. No.
If it did, he's laughing now because he's rolling in the money. But he does a blog, and on his blog, he it was a certain day. It has to do with a manga or an anime called Sword Art Online.
Yes.
And in that anime, the premise of the anime is that the kids get sucked into VR and they have to win to get out.
Right.
And he's a big fan, and it's one of the things that sort of got him on his path to VR anyway, I think.
It's a gateway.
On the date of something important in the show, he posted this blog post showing his prototype for this VR headset that he made that has gunshot things installed on the top, so that when you're playing, if you die in the game, it triggers them and it shoots you in the head and it kills you. And that's the way it's supposed to work. That
has to be the most American goddamn thing I've ever heard in my life.
I know. He said he's not brave enough to try it because the software is not up to date enough to not be glitchy. Like it has to be foolproof where it wouldn't accidentally kill you, because of an error.
But killing you,
to try it.
But killing you in a timely fashion is not an error. That is a design function, as we say in the computer business.
The thing is if he really built something like that, there would be people out there dumb enough to use it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean,
and it would be on TikTok. Oh, it'd be all over TikTok. Yeah.
I know a lot of people that I would buy it for Christmas for them.
I think in the anime, it's some sort of like chemical or something. This is just absolute blows your brains out. It's very rudimentary.
I don't know. Wouldn't it be cooler to have like some kind of little pin or sword that comes out of the ear?
And like that, it would be less messy.
Yeah.
You could use the fix it again, probably.
Good point.
Yes.
And it wouldn't keep everybody up if you were playing late at night.
Very true.
There's just a lot of functional drawbacks to this. Death only being one of them.
They put it out there in the ether, though. I mean, what sucks about that is we get closer every day with this AI. Somebody sent me that chat.
Oh, the chat bot thing.
Yeah,
or
the chat
AI
thing. You can input anything into it, and it is going to come up with something, and it's scary what it can predict. It uses the predictive text. I mean, not the predictive text, but predictive nature of the programming, and it's creepy.
It's scary. Yeah.
So,
all right, so let's go on to
some Skynet shit we're talking about here.
Oh yeah, we're there. We're actually there, and I think Anita put that it was surrogates. We watched that.
Oh yeah. I just couldn't remember.
See, I was not hallucinating. Everyone in the chat room.
Not that time.
It was like 2009 movie.
Yeah, I mean,
it was an older movie.
I didn't watch.
I'm an older person.
Yeah, we never watch things when they come out. We wait. No. All right, so another weird story. This one I thought was fantastic. This is karma, immediate karma. This is from South Carolina, and it's about a man.
That's karma.
Who suffered a fatal heart attack while trying to bury the body of his girlfriend that he just strangled to death.
This much sounds more like a Florida story, but go ahead.
It does, but it's South Carolina. So some neighbors called the authorities because they saw the man lying in the backyard unresponsive, and they were worried, and so they called the police. And when the police showed up, they found Joseph McKinnon in the backyard, and he was dead where he had suffered a heart attack. But when they were investigating, they noticed that there was a body wrapped up in a bag in a hole. And when they looked in it, it turned out to be his 65-year-old girlfriend. And when they did the autopsies, it turned out that she had been strangled and he suffered a heart attack.
Okay.
Oh my God. Go ahead, John. But
no, I was just
I've got
say,
a really bad observation here.
I'm going to go movie as well. I'm going to go a little Crimson Peak on that one. I would imagine that the ghost of the pissed off 65-year-old woman who had to put up with this man's BS for 40 some years, that if he lost his shit and strangled her, that she's not going to let it be. Come on, anybody who's been with a woman for over 2 decades,
I was going to say 15 minutes, but continue.
Yeah, I mean, she's not going to let you have the last word. If I was to ever kill you, which if I did, nobody would know. Yeah,
and this definitely cannot be admissible in trial.
Yeah. No, but that is very paranormal sounding.
What were you going to say, Wes? What was your observation?
See, I came at it from my little Judeo-Christian upbringing, and I'm thinking, oh my God, if you had to stand in line for judgment at St. Peter's desk, and your girlfriend that you strangled is like 2 people up.
That'd be awkward.
Yeah,
that's a very good word. Yes, that would be awkward. And
I would want to be first somehow to talk to Peter.
Just to get your side of the story in.
Yeah, just be like, crazy thing.
Well, I'm assuming it's first come first serve. Now that I'm going to make that assumption that there's a hierarchy that they don't just let you walk up all willy nilly.
Right.
And just hop in line and
you can't,
I'm pretty sure cutting in line is a go straight to hell.
You can't get the City of Gold pass. I mean,
the line skip.
Yeah,
it's like it's in the Bible. People, look it up.
That's why people go to church. They get the line skip.
It's like that guy avoided internet porn. He can walk all the way. Come on.
And then somebody in the chat room said, Peter, dude, she hogged the remote. Give me a break. Okay, we're at the half-hour mark. Now, this time, we're going to do a promo, and then we're going to do our announcements for the night. Oh. Don't tell anybody, though, because I didn't brag about it when we did the show promos, so most people have no idea. I have 2, count them 2, celebrity announcements tonight. And my other great longtime sponsor, Spirit Mechanics. Spirit Mechanics, a group of like-minded individuals brought together by their similarities and strengthened by their differences to aid others on their journey to spiritual growth, health, and well-being. Find them at Spirit Mechanics. It has the address off Newtown Pike for their new brick-and-mortar store. I do need to point out, though, if you go to Meet the Mechanics page, I'm not on there because apparently I don't have any black and white pictures. They both Meet the Mechanics is all black and white, and I think that's only something you do for opposing political ads. That being said, check them out. Spirit Mechanics, spiritmechanics.com, spelt with an X, just like it is right there on the page. All right, announcements. Let's go ahead and knock these out. Coming back to Scarefest, David Howard Thornton. You know him from Terrifier 2, Gotham, and Nightwing Escalation, and he needs to update his bio on his IMDb page because it lists like everything that happened before that, like it's really something. Has anybody seen the Grinch movie? When does it come out? The Grinch movie. The Mean One. I haven't heard anything about that. But it says it was finished in 2022, but I don't know that it came out. The Mean One. But Terrifier 2, which is apparently a bloodbath. And in honor of that, everybody, our next celebrity announcement, Damien Leone, the guy behind the special effects that made us all kind of squeamish in Terrifier 2, and also All Hallows Eve 2, Frankenstein and the Mummy. But this, I'll put it this way. I want to meet this guy because I want to hear how he sold the whole naked upside down hacksaw thing. I need to know how you convince someone to do something like that. Now, that's our announcements for tonight. That's first 2 of the year. We got a whole bunch more already stacked up, racked and stacked. And don't forget, next weekend, Central Kentucky Mystical Market, January 14th and 15th. I have all plans on being there unless it snows, because I'm not getting on bad roads to go down there. But February 11th and 12th, if you can't make it next weekend, January 14th and 15th, it's in the paddock room, which is at the front of the building. So don't go around back like you normally do. You can still get there if parking's tight or whatever. You just walk up a hallway. It's not a big deal, but it is in a different room. And we're back. That's what we're starting off with.
Yeah. And that Terrifier 2 has got a lot of steam behind it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Really popular movie.
I'm gonna put it. Everybody says it's. Oh, a couple people I've seen didn't like it as much as Terrifier 1, but they still liked it. But if it's bloodier and gorier than Terrifier 1, which by all accounts it is, I mean we're down to snuff films at this point.
It's pretty close. It's pretty close to a snuff film at that point. I agree. But hey, Chris Jericho's in part 2.
Well, there you go. I guess I'll see it. I didn't see the first one, so
I didn't.
I won't be shocked.
You haven't seen the first one? It is tough. It is
She
absolutely
sleeps a
tough.
lot.
I can't help it. I get tired.
And they made it like on the director what he had in his wallet. I mean, they made it for like $150 or something.
One of the best movies are made like that.
You have an interesting movie with what's in my wallet.
So, all right, now I know. Yes, it said TVMA, but I'm not even going to go there. Okay, what's on the agenda now?
All right, so let's do a couple more stories here. So this was a really weird story from Thailand about a couple that won the lottery. And this is a fantastic story. So what happened was they went to a cemetery to ask for help to win the lottery, and they happened to win a little bit of money. And they went back to the cemetery and held like a barbecue to kind of thank the spirits for helping them win the lottery. And a couple days after they did that, they won like the huge lottery, like a lot of money, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And in order to celebrate that win, they didn't forget their ghost friends. They held a huge dinner in the cemetery with real absolute chefs, like 5-star chefs, tables, waiters, And they had a whole meal prepared. It cost a lot of money. Had it all served out. Nobody ate it because it was for the spirits. And they even had a movie playing to say thank you for helping them.
Does it tell us
win
what
the
movie they
lottery.
played?
It doesn't. It just says they showed a
Aw.
movie so that they could have some after dinner entertainments after the dinner that they ate or whatever.
I
Didn't
hope
eat.
I hope nobody tried eating the food after they left it out,
I hope not.
because that's a no for anybody who leaves food out for invisible people.
I understand leaving food out for the dead. Okay, no, actually I don't. But in this case, I'll cut them some slack. But by golly, if I'm gonna go to all that trouble, I'm gonna have a sandwich.
Oh yeah.
If I don't eat the whole course thing,
So-
what you do is you say, just walk over and go, are you gonna eat that?
I think that the dinner that they had, I think it said it cost them like $8,000
Holy
for the,
cannoli.
Well-
for the dinner, for the whole setup. They did like a pop-up restaurant thing and everything. But good on them for showing their gratitude for where they thought that their luck came from.
So well, you said this was in Thailand, so they did a little Bangkok in the graveyard, right?
I guess so. I feel like they did that the first time, and then they won some money on the lottery, and they were like, "Oh, that must have been because of the cemetery." I'm not sure how they came to that
Do
conclusion.
you think that the dead was actually
They
like,
didn't
oh God,
really go into that?
oh God, because
Okay.
you know that they just left their stuff like.
Right. Well, see, that was just a little bit of money, so they just did a barbecue. They just took the grill and a few hamburgers or whatever. But then they
And the
won-
ghosts were so impressed.
yeah,
Yeah.
that they helped
Yeah.
them win $100,000. I think I'm with John. I think the ghosts were like, "Oh gosh, did they win again?" Oh.
Yeah, no doubt. Let's just get this over with where they don't have to come back to the graveyard to knock boots.
Yeah, maybe they can buy a house now.
Yeah, maybe. It's disgusting.
So
I
very-
would be willing to make more fun of them for all this, but to be honest, a couple times I bought lottery tickets and I've asked my spirit guides, "Hey, could y'all help?" And no, they don't. But
it's not really their thing.
I think it's frowned on.
Yeah.
that's I think that's one of those rules that
Yeah, it's an unwritten, I believe.
It is. I do believe so.
Like eating the food that you leave out for a ghost.
All right, so let's talk about this story from Panama. And this one,
Panama.
this is not one that we were able to do either, but I love this one. It's about a company called Ocean Builders, and they make these things called sea pods. And what they are, they're luxury houses that float on the water. And they have several different models if you go to their website, and the prices start around $295,000, but they can go up to $1.5 million. So this just happened in October. They were going to do an unveiling. They did this live unveiling, and of course, they picked the most spectacular home, the $1.5 million home.
Of course.
Panama's president was there. They were live streaming it, and they they revealed the home, and wouldn't you know, there was a pump problem, and the whole thing tipped and half sunk under the water during their unveiling. So did not go as planned.
But they were all coked up, so it didn't really matter.
knowing that they obviously will sink, I'm wondering what the advantage of these over say a used houseboat
Island?
is.
I'm not sure. I have not been to their website to read all of their good points about living on the water. But they did make a statement saying that no one was injured in the incident. Nobody's feet even got wet. And, that they do need a few minor touch-ups to their problems, but that
So it's a full house.
safety is their top priority. Yeah, it's 2 or 3 stories, has a jacuzzi. It's like a living home, lots of windows. It is a floating home. I think the bottom of it sits a few feet under the water, and the whole thing just sits on top, and you live in the sea. I have no idea. I just thought that the whole story about them doing this grand unveiling with their most expensive home in front of the president of the country, and it sunk.
So
That's fantastic.
I think we could start selling real estate to these people.
Right, some small plans.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ups and downs, but
Well, there too. I guess more embarrassing things have happened, every time they launch a new Windows. But
I like the guy who buys the new iPhone and drops it.
Oh
Like,
yeah, like
oh,
it's
yeah.
on like, look at my new iPhone crash.
there's always one of those.
That's terrible. All right, so let's talk about the story from India.
Again,
This is from back in
a
January.
lot of India stories.
Yes, this is from way back in January, beginning of the year. And this is about this happened during a festival they were having, and they were on like the third day of the festival, and it was time to do the animal sacrifice. They were going to sacrifice the goat. You remember this story? I don't know if you remember. And the priest that was going to do the animal sacrifice was really drunk. I guess it was the third day of the festival. And
I saw this on
instead of
Seinfeld. No, wait,
The
that was
goat.
circumcision. Never mind.
Instead of sacrificing the goat, he missed his target and slit the throat of the guy holding the goat and was arrested for murder.
I did see it on Seinfeld. At least that's what it was based on, I guess. Well, of course, that was
Probably.
Wait a second.
50 years
That was
ago.
the story that came out of India.
Wait a second. I've been pretty rip roaring before.
Right, right.
I've been sloshed.
Mhm.
I don't think I've ever been so sloshed.
That you behead the wrong thing, a man instead of a goat.
Between a goat and a man, what did the man look like? What did the goat look like?
No idea.
I will confess that once I was slicing lemons to put in tequila, and things went awry. But it was my own hand. It wasn't, I
Oh,
didn't
did
have
you
someone
lose a
else
finger?
holding. No, I still have them all, but
So was it the first drink of the night?
no.
No.
It was post friend's bachelor party.
There you go. Come on now. Listen. That's total murder.
Mhm,
Like that was
mhm.
pre-planned. Him and the goat came up with this.
You think so? You think so?
Well, yeah, absolutely. He's known little Billy for a while now.
Right.
Now, I want to know from the religious context,
Mhm.
does it still count?
I mean, it was still a sacrifice,
That's
right?
right. Exactly.
Something still bled. I feel like that should still count. I think you
And-
should get bonus points because it wasn't a goat.
You should like defend this guy. We could see if he's still waiting a trial in India. That's a great
You
defense.
really did a
It
favor.
actually is.
Yeah.
I mean, you could even blame. You could even say I could say my wife wrote the instructions. And
Yeah. Hey, listen, I'm all for it. You'll be in line right behind the pissed off elephant.
There you go.
Oh, would that have been terrible if after that happened? If the elephant had come in and this.
I still think it's funny that the elephant didn't just come to the funeral. It picked her body up and threw it.
No, see, you should have totally started with the elephant story, ended with this story, and just lied at the end and said the elephant came in and cleaned it
Then
all up.
yeah, then the elephant came in.
That's
and
how the good
add
stand-up
insult to
works.
injury.
All right. So
Is it just me or the story's darker this year? It seems a lot of
they have been
death.
horrible this year. All the stories this year have been so
Okay, so little plug here. So anybody who's ever watched Today is Strange or listened to Today is Strange, there is a plethora of episodes to listen to or watch on YouTube from October. I think there's over 50 already.
Mhm.
But at the end, at the last story, unsuspecting John comes home from work to sit down at our home studio to go through these wonderful, strange stories of the day that gets uploaded every morning, Monday through Friday at 6 a.m. So I sit down, and every bleeding night, I don't know how she does it, but Stacy gets one of the most disturbing, god-awful stories.
I like to throw him a loop at the end because he doesn't know which stories I'm going to do. Like he honestly, because I find them during the day to make sure they're pretty timely, and he has no idea. And he'll come home and sit down, and I always try to put like the weirdest, most god awful story at the end. So I'm pretty successful sometimes. Sometimes there just isn't that much news, but
You still find so anybody who just wants a good laugh, it's normally that last story. But what do you have here?
Oh, let's see. So there's a story from February about a zoo, a Stafford Zoo that hired a Marvin Gaye impersonator to visit the park to encourage the endangered monkeys to get it on. That's how they decided they were going to do it. They're endangered like macaques, I think, some kind of macaques.
Macaques.
Barbary macaques. There you go. And this is the Trentham Monkey Forest. It's basically a place you can visit. The monkeys just roam free and you go visit. But this is a very endangered monkey. There aren't that many, and they really wanted them to have a lot of babies. So they decided that the best way to do that was to hire this gentleman named Dave Largy. And he is described as a highly experienced love song guru. And he came and serenaded the monkeys, hoping that they would, get in the mood.
Did it work?
I don't know. I honestly went to their website earlier today because I wanted to see if there was like an increase, like if they had some kind of post up going, we had so many monkeys born this year or something like that. But I didn't find anything because this story was from February and they would have had the monkeys like in summer. And so I didn't find anything that said, oh, wow, we've doubled the number of monkeys. I hope so. I hope they did.
Did they try like dresses?
Lipstick, like monkey makeovers? Is that what you're asking me?
Like that god awful monkey on the gifts, little skinny the little that terrible
right with the lips.
Yeah.
The one on the campus was pretty cute in the dress, so yeah, that might work. That might work.
You never know. It gets lonely in the
that story speaks for itself. Beyond wanting to know if it was even remotely successful, I think that story covers everything we're going to say about monkey sex in this episode of Scarefest TV. Let's do our commercial spot now. And
horror, movies, fans, for life. On Facebook, find us. For watch parties, for news, for memes, for friends, for life. Horror movie fans for life. Join us.
Hey, Scarefest fans, this is Joe Lewis of Bonehead Weekly. This week I'm going to give you a twofer. Now, the Boneheads finally got together, hung out for a few minutes, and watched some crappy horror films, which we have a tendency to do for some, no idea reason. James had bought this one on, the first one, he actually bought both of them. And he was like, but you can at least review them for Scarefest television. But they're kind of old. You may have already seen them, so I'm going to put two of them together. The first one I'm going to talk about is called The Evil Within, not based on the game. And it stars Frederick Kohler as the lead kid, but you probably don't know who he is. Michael Berryman's in it, who is just a fantastic, sweet person. You've been to Scarefest, you've met him. Wonderful human being. Has a role that's not quite big enough for him. So I'm Sean Patrick Flannery from the Boondock Saints and Dina Meyer. Basically, the plot is a lonely and mentally disabled boy who lives with his older brothers, urged by a reflection in an antique mirror to go on a murderous rampage. You ever watch something and you think, this is not only insulting, but I find it slightly offensive. So the boy has some sort of, he's mentally handicapped. He has a disability. And he has something in the mirror telling him to do other things because to make him smarter. None of it makes any sense. It's not very good. You can find this movie on Tubi. Really, the only reason to watch it, other than some scenes towards the end with a certain ice cream lady in the movie, is for, I don't know why you'd watch it. Actually, Michael Berryman is the best thing in this thing. He has a few good shots. There's some great images in it. I'm going to try to find positive things about it. But the story altogether is not very good. It was written and directed by a guy named Andrew Getty, who actually passed away before the movie was completed. So that might explain some of it. I like the whole opening act. It looks like a 90s Soundgarden video. But the movie itself, not so much. The next one I want to talk about is from 2009, and it's a movie that's got a huge cast, but God, did I not care for it. It has Justin Long, Christina Ricci, and even better, Liam Neeson. And it has an ending that I kind of enjoyed. But it's written and directed by Agnieszka, I can't say her name. And it's called After Life. Once again, not based on the Ricky Gervais show. What it is Christina Ricci gets in a fight with her boyfriend, gets in an accident, finds herself as a cadaver in a mortuary, and the mortician is played by, you guessed it, Liam Neeson. Most of you have never even heard of this, and that's okay. But he's on it. You can watch it on Netflix, I think. And he talks to the dead, or says he can talk to the dead. And I don't want to give away too much. It's not an awful movie. The difference between this and the other, The Evil Within, is this has got great actors in it. The thing is, though, it's still not great. And there's a reason why I'm probably 13 years later watching it, is just because it just isn't good. Once again, though, Christina Ricci, topless for the last third of it, if that excites you. Liam Neeson's not topless, which made me sad. I enjoyed parts of it. I don't know. It's just so cliche. Is she dead? Is she not dead? I'm not going to tell you and give it away. But Liam Neeson may not very well be a very nice guy. And if he is a nice guy, he may be mentally unstable. Check out Afterlife only if you really, really love Liam Neeson. Otherwise, just kind of skip it, okay? Skip both of these movies. If you have to watch them, one's on Tubi, the other one I think's on Netflix. This has been Joe Lewis, a Bonehead Weekly. Sorry, I'm not telling you about anything you should see. I feel bad. Blame James Thomas.
And welcome back to the final moments of Scarefest TV's annual Weirdness in Review. Or as tonight is going to be called Everybody Dies.
Yeah, never let Stacy pick the stories.
Okay, listen, I have one, and it is a feel-good story from New Year's Eve. It's like the very last story of the year.
Okay, all right.
Oh man, I wish I'd got my soundboard hooked back up. I could play some inspirational music right now.
All right, so this is from Scarborough, England, and it's about a walrus.
A what?
A walrus. I have trouble with words sometimes. Okay, his name is Thor, and he waddled up on the beach on New Year's Eve, and it was kind of an uncommon sighting for a walrus to come up on the beach, and so a lot of people showed up to, kind of gather around and look. Well, it turns out that when all those people were there, the walrus decided he was super comfortable and decided to masturbate right there on the beach and on the pier in front of everybody. And then he promptly fell asleep, as one would do.
Sounds like a normal dude to me.
But
we call that Tuesday in Kentucky, but go ahead.
They didn't want to disturb the walrus and out of his sleep, they canceled the New Year's Eve fireworks for the whole city.
Oh.
And everybody home. But the walrus got to sleep and have a wank beforehand. So it's feel good for the walrus, I guess.
Oh my God.
Well, I will say this is the official episode of Scarefest TV that has a happy ending.
You beat me to it.
If I'm nothing else, the wit is still quick. I can't remember names worth of shit. But
no, that's okay. She gets to spanking jokes, and we're all over it. Says something about our character, I believe.
See, now this story would shock me worse. I'm shocked that they canceled New Year's Eve. But I own a stallion, a horse, and they do that constantly. It's just something they do.
The stallions can wank?
Yeah. Well, they don't take their little hooves, but they have a trick. And if you could do that trick, John, look it up, Google it. But if you could, I guarantee you, there's a video out there.
I mean, it's a legitimate question. Oh, no. I was picturing it trying to.
My Facebook's gonna be ruined now.
I'll put it this way, John. If you learn that skill,
he is very talented.
Yes. To do it.
So how do they do it?
You're gonna have to Google it, I guess.
Yeah, Google it. I'm not going into
I can
detail.
take a video for you if you want.
I mean,
You can come out to the farm one day and we'll let you sit and watch.
I'm bloody curious.
That'll be the day we bring the kids, you know. Oh, kids, you want to go see a horse? Oh, whoops.
and incidentally, they don't care if they're tied to a trailer at a horse show, in a parade, when the urge hits them.
Do all animals do that?
I mean, I guess so. Let me tell you.
Probably not penguins.
John was talking about how I hit him up with like weird stories at the end of the show. And my favorite this year that I hit him up with that he wasn't expecting was the story about how they figured out that female snakes have clitorises.
Oh, God.
It was a fantastic story.
That's not a fantastic story. It bothers me that we spent money from a university to try to figure out if there was a magic button on a snake.
The funniest part was that it wasn't that hard to find, and a female scientist was like, "Oh, look, there it is." Nobody could find it before that.
I don't know what your joke is.
I don't.
Which is incidentally not that much different from how a horse masturbates. It's yeah, I think that one might go on the best of reel. That one right there. That story right there. Anyway,
I'm still at a loss.
It's okay.
I'm still trying to work it out.
There's a couple of questions I'm sure me and John would have about that. Not on beyond the obvious jokes there, but not only about why did we spend money on it? Why was this information important?
Right.
I mean, I could understand to the other snakes, I guess, but do they read these things?
Probably not.
I
mean, somebody got cows high this year to see if they produced more milk.
Yeah, we had story after story about.
They don't, and you can get high from the milk, by the way. So that's a thing.
And if it's not now, it will be. I guarantee it. Now that the knowledge is out there.
There was a lot of animal stories with animals getting high and drunk, and like a lot, almost weekly.
Now I used to own another horse that liked to drink.
Well, I think that makes sense because you assisted him. I hope. I mean, he didn't drive to town and like.
Yeah,
you get
little hooves and But no, when we were sitting around the campfire, he would feel left out if you didn't bring him a beer or a glass of your favorite adult beverage, whatever.
That's awesome.
And
the best horse ever.
And it wasn't. I mean, he was really fun with beer bottles because he would you'd be afraid he would swallow it because once again, no opposable thumbs. You put it in his mouth and he'd throw his head back.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure did he like Budweiser or did he like
Well, if he camped with us, it was anything that was on sale.
So Milwaukee's Best, or if it was a modern horse, it would be like a craft beer or something.
Do you ever try to ride him when he's drunk? I know you're not supposed to ride horses when you're drunk, but can you ride a drunk horse? Would you want to? I don't know.
Ed, I don't have enough money to get a horse drunk. Myself, however, yes, that has happened.
I'm very sorry about all this. Please bring us on next year.
Absolutely. We'll just try to remember when I invite you to say, let's not talk about dead people and animals quite as much. Let's have more of a...
Right.
For example, I had Stephanie Bingham on, and she shocked me by telling me that in Kentucky, we had a train hit a UFO.
Wow.
Yeah,
really?
It was in the paper and everything. You missed that too.
I missed that. Very strange.
Was that...
was that recently or?
It wasn't that long ago. What was it, in the 60s?
I forget when it was.
60s or 70s, I think.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah.
Well, normally, yeah.
That was like yesterday.
Yeah.
Well, it was pre-internet. I'm quite sure of that. But
That's
yeah,
crazy. I'm gonna have to look that up. I subscribe to newspapers.com because I love vintage news. So I'm gonna have to try and find a news article for that.
Yeah, we used to joke about Kentucky before we moved here. About how
and you
Kentucky
don't.
was-
Are you saying you don't now?
Well, Kentucky was always included on any news story we did. If somebody saw a fireball in the sky, it would always be like the fireball was spotted by people in New York, Massachusetts, Maine,
that long ago.
and Kentucky.
Paintsville UFO and train collision.
2002.
Although 2002. So it was not nearly as long ago as I thought.
Yeah, yeah.
21 years.
Wow.
I'm ashamed of you.
I haven't found that.
It was all over Fox News. I mean, Ian,
Google train hitting a UFO in Kentucky.
there you go.
I'm gonna look it up.
I'll Google that next.
That comes right after the horse thing.
You got something else up on,
Yeah.
on private browsing.
Okay, well, we've and the extra 5 minutes will make up for while I was fixing the audio at the beginning of the show. You two, once again, I love having you on because I don't have to do shit except make crude comments. Tonight might have been a little cruder than normal, but
I apologize for my dead people story. I don't write the news. I just find
record it?
Yeah,
It
Find
was
it.
that kind of year.
it was.
Yeah, it absolutely was. It's already started out that way too. So
Yes.
so anyway, to recap, we have David Howard Thornton and Damian Leon coming to Scarefest 2023. Tickets are on sale all the way up through the gold. We do not have platinums on sale yet. We expect to have them on sale by next Friday. Isn't that right? Yeah. Next Friday we should have some platinums on sale. And they have not updated me on vendor tables. I know they were working on it this week, and I really thought they'd go on sale this weekend, but I don't know that. And so, yeah, Scarefest weekend, everybody. Click the links and get your tickets. And that's where we're at for now. We've got like 15 or 20 guests lined up to announce. So I'll be busy. Everybody, next week, it might just be me and Adrian, but the plan is to have our council episode. And, of course, you can find John and Stacy's daily podcast.
Yes.
Today is
You should
Strange.
have a
on
website.
YouTube.
You can go to todayisstrange.com and I should have all the links for everything.
My website's so far behind. I was catching up, though, when my previous internet provider, told me to go fuck myself. So that's my excuse, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Everybody, hope to see you next week on Scarefest TV every Friday night, except for when it's not.